Hi, everybody. This is Jane Celia Hatch, Bethesda Star, Targeted Shaman, Paradise Shaman. I have a memory of a paradise earth that we all lived on thousands of years ago, and I believe we're headed towards the vibration that's going to deliver us into that third world, Hopi called third world, and I call paradise earth. I think the Bible called it the Garden of Eden. It's our natural state of being. So anyway, I apologize. My sets keep changing. That's because I have changed location several times. At the moment, I'm in Santa Fe. I just got into Santa Fe last night. I'm in sort of the center of Santa Fe, location-wise, sort of near the high school. It's a beautiful day. The birds are singing. It's brilliant sunshine, as it always is in Santa Fe. And I realize I do love the mountain air. There's something about it, and the crystal in the earth. My soul energy really vibrates. My emotions are on the East Coast, that's for sure. But there's a certain vibration here that's, I think, liberating for kind of free souls like myself, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm not sure what's happened in Santa Fe since I left. A lot of terrible things were happening when I did leave. My targeting was on steroids. It was bad. There was a drone outside my house almost every time I left. It fired at my car. It fired at me in front of Trader Joe's. It fired at me and my dog when we went for a walk in El Dorado all night. It was bad. So I had to leave, and I did leave. And I found a lot of protection on the East Coast, both with my family, and I was underground in a beautiful underground house. So I also believe the climate for targeting is shifting. I see that on social media, and I feel it in my shaman center, my gut instinct. It's shifting. I don't know if they're losing funding because of all the money the deep state is putting into this pandemic. There's a huge amount of money that goes into supporting this pandemic, with all the hospitals, everything, globally, they're funneling huge amounts of money into misinformation. I mean, every CNN reporter, every MSNC, whatever it's called, all the other mass media are millions has to go into pay these people to lie. The rioting, millions has to go into that to pay Antifa, and I believe as well Black Lives Matter. It's just enormous amount of money to fund this pandemic, which is designed both partially depopulation, but it's also fear. The satanic left. I'm not saying all people on the left, but the left has been usurped by the satanic deep state. They're basically using the left as their vehicle for evil, just as the Vatican used Christ as their Vatican for evil, because they're so evil, they can't present themselves as they are. So they have to use, the left was traditionally in the past considered the empathetic vibration of souls, and the Christians were definitely the loving, heart-centered. And so the Vatican, which is primarily satanic, used the Christians, and now they're using the left. It's like the Trojan horse. They're going in as the left, which used to be about human values and peace, which is now the opposite. And it's about, inequality and racism and war. So they're using that vehicle, and it costs money. So they may be moving funding from the malevolent dark military, which is the proponent of illegal targeting of innocent Americans, non-consensual. None of us have consented to this. So it could be, I just feel like, as I'm even thinking energetically, things are breaking up. It looks like chaos on the planet, but the good piece of that, things are breaking up, systems are breaking up. On the physical level, I was told by a very close friend who lives in Albuquerque that this company called Targeting Energy I mean, it's unusual that they would actually present who they are. It would be more like, energy for real humans or green energy. They use the opposite, like George Orwell said, left will be right, up will be down, black will be white, the sun will be the moon. A lot of the most evil companies right now are using traditionally green or those type of words. So this is called, I believe, targeted energy, or targeting energy. It was a 600 employee company that shut down overnight. So that might be part of it, that this company shut its doors overnight, is gone. They lost funding for, I mean, it's millions of dollars for each person they target. Can you imagine the resources and the manpower that goes into a drone with one target? The amount of the people have to be paid. It's round the clock. They have to have all that electronics. There's probably upkeep with the drones, and there has to be someone on a computer monitoring me. I mean, it's a huge amount of money, and they may be losing it because they're, in a sense, they're getting even more desperate. So they're going for, bigger quantities of people rather than the individuals. And that's a very big general statement. But I'm trying to say that something's shifted. And I feel something that was innately evil or innately corrupt has broken up in Santa Fe, or maybe even in New Mexico. I've been here less than 24 hours, so this is a really preliminary energy update on the frequency that's happening here in Santa Fe. Again, I haven't even been here quite 24 hours, but it feels a lot less heavy. Police were often very much a part of targeting. They worked with the fusion centers. They worked with, the politicians of the state, the governors, and they would, so the police were low man on the totem pole, but a little bit above, criminal gang stalking, I don't want to say illegal immigrants because people go nuts with that, but it's basically people who don't have an investment in community that can be hired thugs. So the police were sort of one level above the hired thugs, and they would stalk, target, they followed me, they'd flash lights at me, they'd stop me for no reason. They could, they just generally harassed me, and they made sure when I left the house, they'd be tailing me. So now that the police force is under fire by God only knows what, the Black Lives Matter that is funded by Soros, that is funded by the Clinton, the Vatican, who knows? But anyway, they're messed up now. I don't know that they don't know if they're coming or going, or they're going to be defunded, or so it may be that the corrupt is corrupting each other now, and it's sort of breaking up. So it may be that the police force has recoiled and not targeting as much. I don't know. I may get them all excited and they will start up again. But anyway, shamanically speaking, I wanted to give everybody a hint or some instructions. And I was taught this by another shaman, Sandra Ingerman, who also lives in Santa Fe. She's world renowned. She has several books. I've been to several of her workshops. She helped me with my own master's thesis on shamanism. And you can ally with power animals and spirit guides and angels and ancestors on the spiritual to affect the physical that we live in, right here and now. And this is a very helpful thing that you can do if you're flying and you feel like there's a disturbance, or and I don't always do it, but when I feel like, there's turbulence coming, or anyway. So I was in Denver in one of the smaller planes getting ready to take off for Santa Fe last night. And I don't look forward to this particular journey because it's a Gulf Stream, I think it's called, between Dallas, Texas, and Santa Fe, New Mexico. And it causes turbulence. So it's always a turbulent flight. And it's a small plane. So you're literally like sometimes bumping like this on your chair. It's unnerving. And in this one, the pilot came on and said, it's going to be turbulent. We're going into thunderstorms. So that was even more disconcerting. But I was in it to get to Santa Fe, no matter what, or not. So I had to get home. It's been a while. So what I did, and what Sandra had taught me, and probably taught a lot of other people by now, is you call in power animals, but it's very specific. You call in the power animals and loving and compassionate spirits of the pilot. You call in the power animals of the co-pilot. Even the plane has power animals because it is an entity of the earth, wood, metal, stone. It has a spirit, a vibration. So you call in the helping spirits of the plane, and then you call in the helping spirits of everybody on the plane, and then of course you call in your own power animals and spirit guides. It's a form of prayer, but shamanism is a very specific prayer, and you're also calling in all the guides and wonderful beings on the spirit world that God has given us for our journey while we're on the earth. We don't have those guides once we leave. So I called them all in, and I saw eagle, very clearly. Very huge eagle was sort of embodied the plane, like it had become the spirit of the plane. And so I felt completely calm and safe. And who knows, coincidence or not, we had one bump on the entire hour and 15-minute flight, and no thunderstorms, nothing. It's sunny. I don't know whether we were able to go above. Sometimes they can raise the height of the plane, or however you call it, so you're above it. Sometimes they can't. There's different reasons why they have to fly at different heights. So it was a great flight. It was beautiful. It was sunny, and there was one bump maybe 15 minutes before we landed. And so who knows if the power animals and the angels and the spirits affected. I mean, I say who know. I do know. I am absolutely sure. But in your own mind, if you're unsure, do it anyway if you feel uncomfortable on a flight, and then give thanks at the end when things do go well. So I really wish that I could stop talking about satanic deep state pedophiles. It's like these huge weeds. I feel like I have to keep pulling out, and that's something I have to get centered on, whether I need to keep doing that. I want to be focusing, with other like-minded mystics to create the new paradise earth. But I am drawn back to saying, well, we have to, before you can create a new garden, it has to be completely weeded. And so I keep talking about it. Believe me, it was not natural for me for the first 4 decades of my life. I was kind of a Pollyanna, tiptoeing through the tulips. I tried to believe everything was light and love. And even though my entire life had been unraveled to be the opposite, because I've had trauma ever since I was 7 years old, I sometimes compartmentalized that and wanted to believe in this, light love, but it's not. There's evil on this planet, and it can provide an opportunity for you to grow as a human being. Is the good side of it, and to awaken and to enlighten and to move things around in your brain to make room for it. So I'm still talking about it. I just posted on Facebook. Kaylee, I think that's her name, President Trump's new press secretary, was wearing a cross, and it was right next to a photo of Hillary Clinton, who had an upside down cross, which is definitely a sign of Satanism in my research. And I wrote about how the left is no longer the left. It's just a word that's being used by the satanic deep state. Those on the left must be in a state of shock that Biden is their leader, and I believe he's not even totally human. I think he's a transhumanist at this point. They have capabilities you would not dream of. There's voice to skull. He can be told absolutely everything to say. And the left has totally been taken over. And I feel sorry if you still think that it's a Democratic Party. It isn't. It's a Trojan horse for Satanism to just stomp through every freedom and liberty and holistic health we have on the planet. So I'm still talking about it. If you want to check out my Facebook page, lots of love to everyone. I do feel like things are breaking up, which is a good thing. There's opportunity when the web of life, there's openings. There's if there's something that's evil and it's threaded like this, there's not much of opening, but of opening it up, but it's loosening. I think they're having to cover so many bases now that they may be failing at all of them. So lots of love. Please, please, please like, comment, share, subscribe. I'd like to be able to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'll try to be more regular. I wanted to do the Diana Chronicles honoring Princess Diana, and also women across the world, the globe, America, that are fighting to keep their children, and men as well, in the deep state courts, and just honoring all women in general that are trying to embrace the energy of the goddess. And so I want to keep doing this, and please support me if you can comment or share or like. I'm not very good at promoting myself at all, so please help me. I'd like to get monetized someday so I can keep doing this and maybe improve. I'd like to make it a little more spectacular. Okay, lots of love.